Desk Ladyada.
Hey everybody, and welcome to my desk. Here we are at Desk Ladyada doing some hardware hacking this rainy weekend. A couple things I did. First up, maybe let's go to the computer and I'll just show off this playground note that I wrote. This might be handy. So, um, I've been working on a little bit on some Arduino libraries, and one of the things that if you do Arduino stuff, you open up the ID and it's like you have to update your libraries. And usually it's not a big deal, but I have like hundreds of libraries that I manage. And the way I manage them is by this is like my GitHub library folder. I git clone libraries, and then I can quickly do versions and versioning and git commits and branches and stuff. But one of the things that happens is sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do, um, like fix a bug branch, and I go into a branch, I do some stuff, and I work, and I forget that I have to switch back into the main branch from the GitHub origin. So that's something that happens. Another thing that happens is, um, other people do commits, and I have to pull the update, and the IDE will tell me, hey, you're out of date because the property version doesn't match because it looks for this property version here. Sorry, a second. But I don't remember, and like then to have going through the IDE and doing it takes a long time. And the last thing that happens, although this is now cleaned up, so you're not going to see it, is usually there's a lot of folders that are called Arduino underscore number. And that's because when you update libraries in the Arduino IDE, it will always, it'll save the old library and old library version, so you can like switch back and forth and create a new folder. But the folder isn't named the library name. It's named, just like I said, Arduino underscore 12345. And so it's really hard to clean up. Like my folder, like this folder had like thousands of libraries in it because of like just 10 years of versions and updates. And so it's not possible to easily clean it up and get rid of the old versions of libraries. So all these things together basically meant that my library folder was getting like so unwieldy that like the IDE was taking forever to start up, and it was like being really weird and sluggish because I had to scan like 1,000 plus, maybe 2,000 folders. So what I did is I wrote this script called rename library folders, although I changed it a little bit. I started with just renaming, and then I updated later. And what it does is instead of calling a library Arduino underscore number, it changes it to be called the library name underscore version with underscores, so that it's really easy to tell, like, oh, here I had U8 G2 library version 2.32.15, and then I updated it and I've got 34.22. And now I know, like, oh, I don't need this version. It's very easy to delete and clean up versions that I don't need anymore. So, like, for example, here, SPI memory, I have 3.3 and 3.4. Yeah, I can get rid of one of them. So, or like, servo libraries. So this script, I had ChatGPT help with it. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I had it help me write the script. I made some changes. It was actually really good about catching some of the weird things about like putty and peeling. So definitely saved me from a lot of Googling. I was just like, hey, I got this error when I run the script. What is it? And it's like, oh, you have to like set the SSH command on Windows. And I would have figured it out, eventually. But every time I remember to use plink instead of SSH, and then 2 years later, I forget. But regardless, I have the script up now, and it's on the Adafruit playground, which is where I'm putting small projects. So, this isn't like a full guide, but I wanted to have more than just a gist because I wanted to explain like where this script came from and all the things that it does. But it's here in the playground, and it's a featured note. So if you go to adafruit.com and you click on playground, you'll see it. And there's also a lot of other notes that people are doing. So, if you want a free user account on adafruit.com, or you have one and you want to like put up some documentation for a project and you don't want to have ads or banners or logins required to view it, check out Adafruit Playground, because it's where we're putting Adafruit folks and people in the Adafruit making and hacking community are putting stuff. So I think this will be handy for people, especially if you're like me, where you maintain hundreds and hundreds of libraries, or even a dozen libraries. And you'll see even respects your do not track setting, which I have on my browser. So you have to click through to show embedded links. This is an embedded gist. So, and also I used DALL-E 3 to create a nice image and, give credit to the prompt and DALL-E 3. So that's one thing I worked on. Another thing I worked on is I did a revision for the 3.5 inch TFT feather wing. We did the 2.4 inch TFT feather wing, and that's in the shop now. I think I even have like a demo running on this, maybe. Let's see. Oh yeah, I ported the weather, what's it called? The thing pulse weather. Can you go to the overhead real fast? If you have one of the new TFT feathers and you want to run the thing pulse TFT feather demo, it's got the time in CST, but otherwise it's, why does it say it's Thursday? Okay, so it's totally at the wrong time. Whatever, we'll fix that later. But I think the temperature is correct. It is chilly. It's overcast clouds. Running here with a feather, and it's got the new version, the V2 of the 2.4 inch TFT feather wing. So this code got updated as well for folks who like to run this code. Check it out on GitHub. Okay, and then back to the computer. Sorry about that. It's just small delay. A detour. So I'm doing the 3.5 inch version of the TFT Featherwing as well. So this one also has not been in stock for 2 years due to part shortages, part pricing nuttiness, discontinuation. So, updated the backlight to be a different driver. The original driver is out of stock. Changed some of these components, added a STEM QT port, changed the touchscreen driver. The TFT is also from a different supplier. And so are the connectors for the feather. So, a big refresh, but ordered the prototype PCBs. So hopefully that'll get revised soon. And then I have a couple more boards to do. I'm getting like down to the last 10. A lot of the e-ink displays have to be redesigned too. All the inks got discontinued, the new chips. And every time a new e-ink display comes out, they're not meant for longevity, so I'm constantly rewriting the driver code for them, which is a little annoying. And then finally, I've been working on getting the, let's go to the overhead, my Pi camera board up and running again. So also has gone through like a bazillion revisions. Now it has an ESP32S3. I want to see if I can get it to recognize this. Okay. So now you can see I've got the display, and I had like a user interface, so you can change the image resolution, and then you can take photos. Snap, and it saves a photo to the SD card. And then this is the camera I'm using. It's a 120. Can't have it focus on everything. It's a wide angle 120 fisheye lens, but I'm also trying out this, which is a normal like 90, 70, 80, 90 degree lens that does not have a fisheye, but does have autofocus. That's what this metal thing is for. So yeah, almost every component on this was also changed, but I feel like I'm getting close to wrapping this one up. I'm going to I added these interface buttons, has the speaker on the front, added a microphone, even though I don't think it really works. And then I moved the battery over. This is like really hot over here. Obviously you can't tell, but I can. The 3.3 volt, like this uses like 200 milliamps. Like it's a very high power chip when it's streaming graphics to a display, when it's like constantly being read. So this is now going to be a buck converter, and I moved the battery over there. This is going to be a buck converter, and then I'm also designing. One moment, let me go to Oh, can you go to the computer and I'll show the I wanted the front of the camera board to be like a LED ring for light effects. So like, you know, it could be an RGBW. So you could have like white flash, but it could also have like color effects. So you could do like cool, like rainbow or blue or like color effects directly. Cause I was like, one of the things about this camera, it's really cool. It's like a Python powered camera, but it's like you can, like every phone has a camera. So I have to do something that makes it a little bit more interesting than just like taking photos. I mean, it's programmable and everything, but I thought having an LED ring in it would be kind of neat because like you don't get that with an iPhone. Um, so that'll be cool. And then we have a couple, so this is written in Python. And we have, you know, the main library. It has a couple cool things like you can do stop motion photography using onion skinning. So I can't really show it. Maybe eventually I'll have some way to get the video into the computer so I can show it easier. But it's onion skinning, and also there is we have QR recognition. So we have like a little bit of like visual, like vision hacking capability. The camera itself is the OV5640, which is a 5 megapixel camera. But it can also do like, you know, black and white, and it can do, of course, like any resolution up to 5 megapixels. So if you're doing image recognition, so I think, hold on, I think Pi camera. Yeah, this code isn't public yet, but one of the examples is QR. So let me put this in here. And then let me save this as cam code PY. And then open. Let's see if this works. Okay, so now it's in QR mode. So let's go to the overhead again, and I'll just see if I can do this demo. You can see this says it's QR scan. So let me see if I can. Hold on, this is like I got autofocus the right thing. 1 second. Sorry, this demo is going to be a little bit funky. Okay, so then focus on that. Close enough. Yeah, and you can barely see it. Hold on. It says, sorry, this is a challenge. Oh, you know what? Maybe already, hold on. I think you have to reset it. Once it does one scan, I think it doesn't scan again. Okay. Live demo. Okay. There you go. So yeah, it recognizes the QR code as adafruit.com. So, you know, you can do a couple things with this camera. Surprisingly, you know, even in Python, just because the ESP32S3 has so much PSRAM, you can do like vision projects that normally would have taken, you know, like a Cortex M7, but like you can't get Cortex M7s from S2 right now anyways. So, one more prototype out the door for this one. I think this project will be finished. So I'm just like really wrapping up a bunch of like 2-year-old projects, which is kind of nice. All right, so I think let's go to the Great Search.
Where in the world is that part I need? The Great Search with DigiKey.
The Great Search brought to you by DigiKey and Adafruit. Ladyada uses their power of engineering to help you. Yes, you find the things you need on digikey.com every single week. Ladyada, what's the Great Search this week?
Okay, this week I saw this person. They have a GPU board and they have some damaged connectors, and they're like, I need to find this 6-pin terminal, this power connector, looks like something kind of went wrong with their power connection, but that's okay. Let's take a closer look at this. And then somebody's like, DigiKey probably has it, but it's hard to search it. Well, we're going to find it for you. So let's open this up in a new tab so we can really zoom. Whoa, zoom in. Too much zoom. Enhance. So this is interesting because, last week we showed how to search for a connector that we had on hand, and we used calipers to measure like the pitch and the sizing and everything. This time we're going to do a power connector match, but we're going to do it by photo. So the one thing we notice is that this is 2x3, and it's a right angle connector. And you see that there's like these little notches here, but like not on this one. Like this is a keyed connector. Not only is there like a notch here, but there is like these, sorry, there's a key here, but there's notches on the contacts themselves. But these are pins. And one thing, we don't know what the pitch is. However, this looks like, 0.1 inch. So this is like 0.16, 0.2, like 3.5 millimeter. It's not 0.1. It's bigger than 0.1. I can tell you that. It's not like 0.3. It's somewhere in between. So we don't know that. But I think based on this, we can figure out what the connector is. So let's go to DigiKey and let's search for, it's not technically a pin header, but like it'll get us to the rectangular connectors zone. So we want a rectangular connector. And, there's like similar stuff here. So we know we're kind of in the right zone. It's like this right angle connector. So let's do the things that we do know for sure. So one, we know there's 2 rows. And we know that there are 6 total positions, 2x3. And let's just go with active because we want to, we want something that you can buy now that's compatible. All right, so it took us for 500,000 down to at least 9,000 point search. And then positions loaded, I'm going to guess all of them. I can't really see, but I'm going to guess that all positions are loaded. So I'm going to just select 6 dash and all to make sure that I get, get all of them. Okay, and then, okay, yeah, we're getting close, but these are all straight connectors. We want right angles. So let's look for that next. So panel mount, no. Board straddle, no. Through hole right angle. That's what we want. We want coming out the side. So let's apply. Now we're down to 1600. Okay, now that's actually kind of, this looks pretty, this might actually be it. But let's even get a little closer even. So next step, we want to get that pitch. So again, we don't know what the pitch is exactly, but it's more than 0.1 inch and it's less than like 0.3. So it's like this. It's between 1.1 and 2. Maybe I'll say 2 as well. Something like that. Okay. So let's apply this. Next, we can do some things like, we can do the insulation color, which is like clear or white or transparent, not beige or black or blue. So I'd say natural or white. Let's see if that helps. And then row spacing is also going to be it's not 0.1. It's definitely bigger than 0.1. Okay, so now we're down to like 60 options. So that's really good. We really cut it down. Fastening type, I don't know, ramp. Glow wire. What that is. Okay, so let's look at our options. Okay. So like I said, some of these are like very, very familiar. So it looks like this is actually kind of a generic connector because it looks like this and this have that same, what I'm looking for is that like square and then notched contact. See, it's like notched, square, 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 notched, notched. So it looks like there's actually a couple different options. Some of these have board locks, which I can't, see. I'm going to assume that there's no board locking. Like the board lock is that pin in the middle that plugs into the board. I don't see that here, so I can't guess on whether it has it or not. Locking ramp, contact shape. Yeah, these say board lock. And this one, sorry, which board lock? I mean, if you have board lock, you know, great, but I don't know that we do. I'm going to say let's not get a board lock. So no extra features. And then, you know, I think that these two are definitely these look pretty good to me. So this TE connector, you know, it's got all the details looking correctly. It looks like there's a couple options as well. Maybe some nicer photos of it. But yeah, I think that this is this wire connector is probably it. Looks good, up to 600, up to 9 amps. So that's, you know, makes sense. It's a power connector. All right, cool. Well, I think that this is going to be my pick. So if you have a GPU board and you accidentally caught it on fire, good news. For about 60 cents, you can fix it yourself using a little solder and maybe some diagonal cutters. So check it out. This is my pick for the Great Search.
That's a great search.
Where in the world is that part I need? The Great Search with DigiKey.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you throughout the week with things going on and more. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday night. See you all next week.
Bye, everybody.